Hello all! You need to hear this if you are a history buff. The world in the early 20th century ran on gold. This precious metal was not just a symbol of wealth, but the very foundation upon which the global financial system was built. It was the bedrock of global finance, a shimmering promise of stability in an uncertain age. Gold was universally accepted, and its value was trusted by nations and individuals alike. Nations tied their currencies to a fixed amount of gold, ensuring predictable exchange rates that facilitated international trade and investment. This system allowed for a level of economic predictability and security that was unprecedented. This gold standard, as it came to be known, seemed unshakable, a monetary order designed to last. It was a system that promised to keep economies stable and inflation in check. But history, like tectonic plates beneath the surface, has a way of shifting the ground beneath our feet. The seemingly solid foundation of the gold standard was about to be tested in ways no one could have foreseen. The First World War dealt a devastating blow to the gold standard, shattering economies and forcing nations to abandon the gold standard to finance their war efforts. The massive costs of the war led to unprecedented levels of government borrowing and spending. The fragile peace that followed proved short-lived, and the even more catastrophic Second World War brought the gold standard to its knees once again. The economic turmoil of the interwar period and the devastation of World War II made it clear that the old system could not be restored. As the dust settled on a world ravaged by conflict, a new order was needed. The destruction wrought by the wars had left economies in ruins, and a new approach was essential to rebuild and stabilize the global financial system. The leading economic minds of the day gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire in 1944, determined to rebuild the global economy from the ashes. They sought to create a system that would prevent the economic instability that had led to the wars. A new monetary system was born, one that would shape the post-war world, a world on the brink of radical transformation. This new system aimed to provide a framework for economic cooperation and development, ensuring that the horrors of the past would not be repeated. The Bretton Woods Conference laid the groundwork for a new era of global economic stability and growth, setting the stage for the modern financial world we know today. The Bretton Woods system, as it came to be known, was a delicate balancing act. It was a monumental effort to reshape the global financial landscape in the aftermath of World War II, a time when the world was desperate for stability and economic recovery. It aimed to restore stability to the global economy while avoiding the pitfalls of the pre-war gold standard. The gold standard had been rigid and inflexible, contributing to economic instability and the Great Depression. The new system sought to learn from these mistakes. The system's architects, led by the brilliant Maynard Keynes from Britain and the influential Dexter from the United States, sought to create a system that was both flexible and robust. Keynes, with his deep understanding of economic theory, and White, with his practical approach to policy, formed a formidable team. At the heart of this new system lay the US dollar, pegged to gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. This peg was designed to provide a stable anchor for the global economy, ensuring that currencies could be exchanged with confidence. Other countries, in turn, pegged their currencies to the dollar, creating a system of fixed exchange rates. This interconnected web of currencies was intended to facilitate international trade and investment, reducing the risk of currency fluctuations. This arrangement made the dollar the world's reserve currency, a position of immense power and responsibility for the United States. The US had to maintain the dollar's value and ensure that it could be converted into gold on demand. The Bretton Woods system, backed by the economic might of the United States, ushered in an era of unprecedented growth and prosperity. American factories hummed with activity, producing goods not just for domestic consumption, but for a world hungry for products. International trade flourished, and war-torn economies began to recover. Europe, devastated by the war, saw its cities and industries rebuilt, thanks in part to the stability provided by the Bretton Woods system. The system had its flaws, to be sure, but for a time it seemed that a new golden age had dawned. Economic reports from the early 1960s showed growth and optimism as nations worked together to build a more prosperous future. The spirit of cooperation and mutual benefit that characterized the Bretton Woods era was a testament to what could be achieved when nations put aside their differences and worked towards a common goal. It was a promise forged in the crucible of war, a promise of peace and prosperity for future generations. Though the Bretton Woods system eventually came to an end, its legacy lives on. The institutions it created, like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, continue to play crucial roles in the global economy. The principles of economic cooperation and stability it championed remain relevant today, reminding us of the power of collective action in shaping a better world. Beneath the surface of post-war prosperity, however, troubling currents were beginning to stir. The American economy was booming, with suburban neighborhoods expanding and cities bustling with activity. Yet this prosperity masked underlying financial tensions that would soon come to the forefront. The Marshall Plan, America's ambitious program to rebuild war-torn Europe, had pumped billions of dollars into foreign economies. This aid was crucial for the reconstruction of Europe, helping to stabilize economies and prevent the spread of communism. Factories were rebuilt, infrastructure was restored, and the European economy began to recover. While undoubtedly successful in its aims, this influx of dollars also led to a growing surplus of US currency held outside the United States. European banks and businesses found themselves holding large amounts of US dollars, which they began to use for international transactions. This surplus of dollars outside the US created a new financial phenomenon. These Eurodollars, as they came to be known, existed outside the control of the US Federal Reserve, creating a parallel currency market that began to challenge the dollar's dominance. The Eurodollar market grew rapidly, providing a new source of liquidity for international trade and finance. Banks in London and other financial centres became major players in this burgeoning market. As the volume of Eurodollars grew, so too did concerns about the long-term stability of the Bretton Woods system. The system, established in 1944, was based on fixed exchange rates and the convertibility of the dollar into gold. However, the growing Eurodollar market began to undermine these fixed exchange rates, creating instability in the global financial system. The gold standard, once a symbol of stability, was coming under increasing strain. Countries began to question whether the US could maintain the dollar's convertibility into gold, given the growing volume of dollars held abroad. The pressure on gold reserves intensified as more and more dollars were converted into gold. The fixed price of gold, set decades earlier, no longer reflected the metal's true market value. The official price of $35 per ounce was increasingly out of step with the market price, which was rising due to demand from speculators and central banks. This discrepancy created significant financial pressures. This disparity created irresistible arbitrage opportunities, leading speculators to buy gold cheaply and sell it for a profit, putting further pressure on the dollar's gold reserves. As speculators took advantage of these opportunities, the US found it increasingly difficult to maintain the gold standard, setting the stage for a major shift in the global financial system. The escalating conflict in Vietnam proved to be another nail in the coffin of the Bretton Woods system. The costly war, coupled with President Lyndon B. Johnson's ambitious Great Society social programs, placed an enormous strain on the US economy. To finance its growing deficits, the United States printed more dollars, further eroding confidence in its ability to maintain the dollar's gold peg. Foreign governments and private investors, sensing weakness, began to exchange their dollar holdings for gold, draining America's reserves at an alarming rate. The United States found itself caught in a vicious cycle. The more it printed dollars to finance its domestic and foreign policy commitments, the less faith the world had in its ability to back those dollars with gold. The gold standard, once a source of stability, had become a shackle on American economic power. Thanks for joining me on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more fascinating history bites. Until next time, keep exploring.